Ni hao. This is the MTP-M305M from Casio on smooth sounds. So I don't know why I'm sounding like that. So, sorry. Let's get cracking with this. This is the new release from Casio. It's a moon phase watch. So down the bottom there, it's got a little moon dial, and that, hang on, let's give it a polish. That really works. So you set it, you go on the internet, you find the current phase of the moon, you set it. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. And it tracks the phases of the moon. So at the moment it's pretty much full moon, and it's awesome. This is a new watch from Casio, and this is the MTP-M305M. M is it's on a silver mesh bracelet. There's plenty of other different colorways. For example, there's the L, which has the black dial and gold dial furniture, I'm going to call it. It's got a leather bracelet, so that's the M305L, and this is the M305M, which is what I'm showing you in this little review, which is a guided tour essentially. We're going to have a look around it. I'll talk about some of the features. I'll show you a little bit of how it works and so on, and what it looks like on my wrist, and we'll measure it, all that sort of stuff. So it is shiny and reflecty, as you've noticed. It's already reflecting everything it can flip and get its hands on. That's normal. It's very shiny. Right, let's have a quick go with it on my 7.5 inch wrist. So it's the classic Casio buckle style with the infinitely adjustable bit on there. That's good, very effective. It makes for a nice small clasp, and that's it on my wrist. Now you'll have noticed it has a bit of an Apple Watch look to it. A bit of is as an understatement, and it looks to all intents and purposes Apple-y, but it's not digital in any way. It's completely, oh sorry for the dog barking, completely analog, and it is really cool. So it's really well made. It's metal case, shiny, smooth, all rounded. There's no fancy angles or different surfaces. It's all relatively straightforward. The glass is actually glass, it's not plastic. So a lot of Casio watches are sort of chromed plastic with plastic crystals. This is good quality. It really is nice bit of heft to it. Not hefty, a little bit of weight to it. Inside it's just a tiny little quartz movement, so there's not a lot in there to give it any weight, but the case has a bit of weight to it. It is really nice. It does have a good quality feel to it. If I grab, for example, just another cheap Casio just off my shelf, this one for example, that's really cheap and light, chromed plastic crystal. So let's just tap them just to here. Anyway, all that to say that this looks nice, and it is nice. It's a decent watch. Let's have a quick look at some of the features. So we have a nice black, dark grey dial. Well, I'm going to slant it so we can catch some light with it, and I'm going to zoom in. Here we go. Right, here we go. So can you see the dial there? It has an ever so slight vertical brushing to it, so it's not matte under light, but if you were just glancing at it, it kind of looks matte-ish. Hang on, let's get focused. But it's got a bit more depth to it, a little bit of texture, which is remarkable really at this price point for Casio. Good detail. Now the I'm going to call it dial furniture. I quite like that phrase. So I've got the indices, the and so on. So at the 12 there, it's actually applied. It's nice shiny silvery stuff, presumably metal. Could be plastic. It looks metal to me. Then the indices going round, nice silvery long batons. So at 5, 10. Then at 15, it's just a little dot to make room for the subdial. Then, as you can see, the rest of it, it's the same over 9 So it's very centered, very nicely balanced dial. It's not symmetrical, but it's well balanced. Now these subdials are amazing. Let's get the hands out of the way. Hang on, let me zoom back out. I'm going to get the hands out of the way. Let's get them over here. I should say that the Casio logo is just printed, and it's sort of just off-white, slightly off-white. Down at 6 there's water resist 50 meters, same, slightly off-white. And then right down here, see if I can zoom in and get that, we've got Japan movement, just printed white, very small, you wouldn't notice that anyway. So these subdials, let's get back to those. On the left, the one at 9 is the day of the week, and over on the right at 3 o'clock is the date. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So it's sort of chronograph aesthetics, but with I mean, nobody uses the chronograph. It's only for aesthetics, I would argue. That's why I've got chronograph watches, because they look cool. But this looks cool, but it's actually useful. So you've got the date, the weekday, and the date. Now to set those is a little bit tricky. You pull the crown out to the first setting, turn it away from you, and if you can see that the moon is changing. So you look up the moon phase on the internet, set the moon. Then you pull the crown, twist the crown towards you, and that changes the date. You see the subdial at 3? There you go, so that changes the date. But there's no quick setting for the day of the week. So you need to cycle through the days, and the day actually changes. So now I'm now at 2 a.m. I'm now at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and the date of the week changes at about 4:20, at 4:30. Just something to bear in mind, a little bit unusual. So at midnight, the day won't have changed, but it will have changed by the time you get up in the morning. And then the second setting on the crown is setting the time. Nice and straightforward, and it does all work. It's not a gimmick. All of those features are useful. The moon phase obviously is. Actually, I'll take that back. It is a gimmick. The moon phase is a gimmick, but it's lovely. It's a little bit like. Do you remember the feeling you had when you got given a Casio digital watch as a kid, and it would beep every hour, and you could time your friend running up and down the road, and you could see what time it was in Hong Kong, all those things. That's it's just, I don't know, that feeling is what you get as an adult with a moon phase subdial. It's not particularly useful, but it's just a cool feature. Yeah. Anyway, so what else have we got to mention? There is another review of this watch, the L version, that goes into a bit more depth. I'm going to keep this one relatively light, but so if you want to see a lot more detail, head over and have a look at that video review. Case back, we should mention that quickly before heading off. Casio WR water resistant 3744, that's the module number. MTP-M305, that's the model number. Stainless steel, water resistant, 5 bar. Japan movement, DY, cased in China. Now DY, I assume that's the factory where it was cased, but I could well be wrong. And there we go, that is it for the review. Aside from getting that focus, thank you very much, this mesh bracelet is, I like it actually. It's thin, but it's very comfortable, doesn't snag your hair, your wrist hair, and for the summer I reckon that would be a lovely comfy wear. Nice. I like it. I'm not sure which of these I like the most. What do you think? Gold, silver? Right, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. As regulars will have started to notice, my videos are getting a little bit haphazard and ramshackle. I like that, personally. I'm okay with that. If you are, click like. I'd really appreciate a like. A subscribe would be awesome. Some comments. What do you think of this watch? Don't criticise my videos. I'm not an expert in any way. I just like having these watches and showing you around. Hopefully you appreciate getting a little look around it too. Right, I shall leave this ticking in front of your eyes and we can just quietly go into the night.